Hello everyone, welcome to the Conquer Your Cravings Masterclass. I am your host, Julia Lefebvre, and founder of the Strong Her community and the Fueled Life program. Okay, so welcome, so excited to have you guys here. Okay, so we are going to talk about quite a few things here today, and hopefully this will help you. I know these tips will help you conquer those cravings, but okay, so who am I? I've been a health coach for over 6 years, coaching women in health and nutrition. I'm a certified nutrition coach, and currently even upgrading my certification to more of a sports nutritionist. And I've been an athlete my entire life. So sports, fitness, nutrition has always been a big part of my life, but I became even more passionate about nutrition when just over the last, 12 years, really getting to understand the impact nutrition has on our body, on our energy, on our overall health, and just really wanting to dive into that more, and also seeing the impact it had on me and my own health, having struggled with low energy, really low iron, and just I had some health struggles throughout university, and changing my diet and my nutrition was really the big change that helped my overall health, as well as I got older and kind of learning what adult sports looks like for me, and incorporating the nutrition into my fitness routine, and really learning. We did a lot of running, my husband and I, when we first started dating, and getting into the gym, and I've struggled with seeing any changes in my body composition, and it was nutrition and learning about macros that really made the difference for me. So I'm really passionate about teaching nutrition to women and really understanding about fueling their body, but also teaching about flexibility so that we're not having to be restrictive, and cut out the foods that we really love, and understanding that balance of whole food nutrition and the impact it has on our body, but also that flexibility, because over the years I've seen the impact that restriction has had on my clients, that has had on me, and kind of just changing that mindset when it comes to nutrition as well. So that is a sort of a little bit about me, but in today's masterclass, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about, what your cravings are telling you. We are going to talk about signs of emotional eating and the tips to overcome it. We're going to talk about cravings and what to do about it, and what you can do moving forward today. So we're going to go from there. I have a big announcement at the end of this call, so make sure to stick around. And if you're watching this as a replay, make sure to stick around to the end so that you can catch that announcement as well. So we are going to talk about those things. So one of the biggest struggles I hear from women is that they struggle with cravings, emotional eating, and or binge and restrict. So if you are any one of those three, so put a 1 in the comments if you struggle with cravings, put a 2 in the comments if you struggle with emotional eating, and put a 3 in the comments if you struggle with binge eating and restricting. So the binge and restrict. So that could be, I know a lot of women don't even realize they're doing that third one. Now, if you're all 3, put all 3 in the comments. If you're 2 of those, put the 2. But even a lot of women don't even realize they're doing it, but they will restrict all week. I eat really healthy, I eat really well, and then on the weekend they binge. They go into a surplus, they overeat, they eat on all the foods that maybe they restricted throughout the week. So that's a binge and restrict. Maybe a binge and restrict is you're following a specific program and you can follow it for, 21 days, 30 days, 90 days. But once that's over, then you go back to old habits. That's another type of binge and restrict. That's that yo-yo dieting we see. Now, we want to avoid that. And that's my goal, is to teach women how to build a lifestyle and a fuel plan that is sustainable for them, that is whole food based, but includes the foods that you love. And I am a geek for swapping recipes and finding the foods that you really love and finding a whole food plant-based version or a whole food version as well. So that is kind of like my area. But I want to tell you, if you are any one of those things, one of those three, any one of those, I want you right now to stop shaming yourself or making yourself feel guilty that you're experiencing that. Because I can guarantee you 90% or more of women experience one of those three things. So you are not alone. There are very few women or people that don't experience that. And those are those like people who like, I don't know, but for the majority of women, you experience one of those things. So it's time to end that guilt and shame around it, and we're going to do something about it. But I'm going to teach you some things where you're going to be shocked and surprised at like how simple it can be to get over those cravings, and some things that you can do today that are going to start helping you moving forward. So again, like I said, there is nothing wrong with you if you experience any of those three things: cravings, emotional eating, or binge and restrict. Okay, so what your body might be telling you. So here's the thing about cravings. Your body is telling you something. This is like, it's feedback for you. If you are experiencing cravings, it is feedback to you. So I don't want you to go, there's a lot of information out there where you're going to see, oh, just drink water, avoid the cravings, find something else to do, like make you feel bad for having cravings. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to really understand what these cravings are telling you. So if you are hungry, then you need to eat. Sometimes that's what your cravings are telling you, right? So I'm going to list out, and if you see me looking down, it's because I have notes and I want to make sure that I'm getting all these great tips out to you and I'm not forgetting anything, because sometimes I can ramble and I can just go off the cuff, but I want to make sure that I get to all the points that I wanted to make sure to touch on today. So here's a few things that could be happening if you're having cravings. So the first thing, you really want to become aware. If you're having cravings, ask yourself, is it one of these things, okay? So it could be one, I have not eaten enough today. So you've restricted your calories all day. It doesn't matter, you could have eaten really healthy, unhealthy, whatever, but if you have not eaten enough for what your body's needs are for that day, you could be having cravings because your body's saying, hey, I'm hungry, I need more energy, I need more fuel in my body to function. And so your body might be telling you, hey, I just haven't had enough food today, I need to eat. And so often it comes out in, whatever, right? I hear people say, oh, I crave sugary foods, I crave salty foods, but it could just be that you have not eaten enough food that day. So it's not necessarily that you have to go for the sugary food or the salty food or the chips or the whatever, but you just may not have eaten enough protein or carbs or healthy fats that day, and your body is telling you, hey, I'm hungry, we need more calories in for today, okay? So that could be one thing, right? That's one thing. So when you have those cravings, ask yourself, did I eat enough food today? That could be why you're craving. Your body is asking you for more food. Okay, number two, you're lacking in certain nutrients. So I teach my clients about macronutrients, getting in those healthy fats, those proteins, those carbs, and making sure we're getting in a well balance of all of those. And now each of my clients, it's going to be different what their percentage is or how much of each one they're getting, depending on a lot of different things. I really work hard to ask you lots of questions to really come up with those numbers. They're not just one size fits all, but you might be missing some nutrients. You might be lacking in some micronutrients as well. And so this is why I talk whole foods with my clients and making sure that you are getting in those nutrients, those micronutrients that your body needs as well, right? We want to focus on getting that in. So for an example, you could be craving chocolate, but your body is lacking in magnesium, right? So there's different food cravings that could be telling your body that you're lacking in a certain nutrient. So again, ask yourself, if you're experiencing cravings, hey, did I get a well-balanced diet today? Did I eat enough vegetables to get in that are high in fiber, that are getting in other nutrients and micronutrients into my body as well? So you could be lacking in that area. Maybe you're under eating in protein and you're experiencing cravings, so you're going for those carbs because your body's wanting that energy, but you can get that from your protein as well. You can fill that craving. So looking at those macronutrients as well and knowing that you're getting enough of that in. Okay. So that was number 2. Number 3, you might just be tired, right? I talked about this on a past training about sleep and the importance of sleep, and how if we're not getting enough sleep, that can often contribute to our cravings. And so we want to make sure that we're eating enough. Our body requires energy. And where do we get that energy? We get that energy and that fuel source from our food. So you want to make sure that you're eating enough food. So, to give you the energy. So if you haven't had enough sleep, right, your body's tired, it needs more energy. Well, you're not necessarily, you may have eaten enough for the day, but you know, maybe it's that 3 p.m. crash that you're experiencing, but you're just really tired and you didn't get enough sleep last night. So it's not necessarily that you need food to fill that energy, but you might just need a nap or to go to bed earlier that night, okay? So that could be another thing that is causing you to experience cravings. I know for myself, when I don't get a good enough night's sleep or I don't get enough sleep, then oftentimes my craving for when I don't have enough sleep is carbs. My body just wants carbs because that is a great source of energy, right? So, but I can get my energy up by getting in some extra sleep. So I know really to okay, I'm going to reassess this. I'm going to eat the food I need for today to fuel my body properly, but I'm going to make sure that I try to go to bed earlier tonight so that I get that I get well rested. And that helps with that craving. Okay, number 4, you could be dehydrated, right? Our body, our cells need to be hydrated with water, H2O. We need to make sure that we're drinking enough water. And so we could just be dehydrated. So I'm not one to tell you, oh, if you have a craving, you should be drinking water, because that's not always the case, right? I've already told you 3 different other reasons why you could have cravings. So for you, it might not be you're dehydrated, and to just go fill that void with water is not going to work, right? So if you've undereaten, it's not a good choice for you to go and have more water. The choice for you would have to be to eat more food. So don't necessarily listen to those water rules. Yes, you want to make sure that you're drinking at least half your body weight in ounces of water every single day, but that could be why. So if you remember, reassess, why am I having these cravings? Hey, I didn't drink any water today. This could be why my body is starving from my cells aren't being hydrated and oxygenated, and they need that water, so go and have some water. But if your cravings are still there, then you need to reassess and go, okay, well, I also didn't eat enough today. I need to go and eat something else, okay? So you can satisfy that craving. Okay, number 5. I was going to say 4. Number 5, we're on to number 5. Hormones are out of balance. So our hormones play a huge role in our overall function, right? And so that could be a piece. If your hormones are out of whack, I have had clients who struggle with hormone balance. And so again, you could be having craving certain foods because of those hormones. But I'm not going to get into too much detail on hormones, but that could be a piece of the puzzle as well. So that's definitely something to talk to your doctor about, or a naturopath about, and all of that, of getting those ways to get those hormones balanced. And food and nutrition and whole food nutrition can be a big piece of that, to help you kind of balance out those hormones as well. And number 6, you're stressed, you're anxious, you're sad, you're depressed, right? That can play a big part in our cravings, right? So we're feeling really stressed, we're feeling really anxious, and so maybe our go-to has been to go and grab food to subside those feelings, to relieve those feelings, right? When we have something to eat when we're feeling all of those. But that is, stress will increase our cortisol levels. Hi, go see your brother, okay? Oh, here, I'll open that for you. The kids are having lunch right now. So, you know, it's going to increase your cortisol levels, which increases your appetite. So if, oh, shh, you have to be quiet though. So if you're experiencing stress, or you're experiencing anxiety or depression or any of those things, and your cortisol levels are higher, then you're going to feel like your appetite is increased. There you go. Shut the door on your way out, please. So you're going to experience an increase in that hormone, and then you're going to experience an increase in appetite, and so that could be why you're experiencing cravings. So again, like I said with the other tips that I shared with you, is you always have to assess, why am I having this craving? Let's look at it. Is it that I have not eaten enough? Is it that I'm lacking in certain nutrients today? Is it that I'm tired? Is it that I'm dehydrated? Are my hormones out of whack? Or am I stressed? Am I anxious? All of those things, okay? So those are some things, reasons why you might be experiencing cravings. This is what your body is telling you. So I want you to stop beating yourself up, first of all, for experiencing cravings, or feeling guilty for having cravings, or feeling guilty or ashamed if you succumb to your cravings, because there is something going on, and now that you know you can do something about it, and you can make the proper assessment and changes you need to with those cravings that you're experiencing. Okay, so I want you to understand that there's nothing wrong with you, but your body is telling you something. So what are you going to do about it? Assess it and then move on, and take the proper action that you need to. So if you haven't eaten enough, go and eat something, and go give into that craving, right? I'm not here to shame you or make you feel bad. Okay, so this that 6th point leads me into emotional eating. And so I want you to drop an emoji, your favorite food emoji, I guess, below if you find yourself grabbing for sweet or salty or a pint of ice cream every time you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed or anxious. So just drop it in the comments below if you've ever experienced sort of that overwhelm, and you're like, I'm just gonna go, you have a go-to food that you grab, and you're eating it, and you just feel this you feel that drop in your stress level when you kind of eat those foods. So this is sort of our emotional eating. So here's a few signs that I want to talk to you guys about, because sometimes people are like, well, I've never experienced that. I don't emotionally eat. And I want to bring some awareness to it, because sometimes we don't know that we're actually doing it. So here's a few signs that you may be an emotional eater, okay? So you turn to a specific food, a food that brings you comfort when you're feeling stressed or sad or depressed or anxious. You're turning to a specific food to bring you that comfort. You keep eating after you've had a meal. So you've eaten, you're full, you're satisfied, but you just keep eating because you're trying to fill some sort of void. You're trying to replace or fix that stress, anxiety, whatever feeling, that overwhelm that you have. You eat fast. So have you ever done this where, you get, let's say, a pint of ice cream, and before you know it, the whole thing's gone, or a bag of chips, and you're eating them, and again, before you know it, you've had half the bag, and you're like, where did that go, right? So, understanding that is emotional eating, right? We've numbed ourselves out. We're filling ourselves with food in order to numb whatever we are experiencing, whatever feelings. And so that could be a sign that you're an emotional eater. You eat immediately after an emotional event. So there have been times when the emotions are really high in the house, and the kids and the behavior and all of that stuff, and it just gets too much and overwhelming. And I've found myself going and grabbing a snack to deflate almost, to bring that energy down. and I'm turning to food. So that's a sign that there's times when I might emotionally eat. And for me, I have a very high threshold. So I wouldn't consider myself someone who's always emotionally eating, but when maybe once or twice a year when things are really, really like skyrocket high emotional, I feel out of control or I don't have control over the things, then I go and I've noticed, become aware that I was going to food to relieve that overwhelm and stress. Or you feel guilty. If you feel guilty about eating, oh, I shouldn't eat this, right? That's emotional eating as well. So those are just a few signs. Again, like I said at the beginning of this masterclass, you have to stop feeling guilty and shame. If you are experiencing any of these things, they are completely normal, but there are things you can do it. So here's a couple things you can do about it. So here's a couple of tips to help you overcome if you're an emotional eater. So first, it's finding the root cause. What is causing that stress, that anxiety, that overwhelm, that feeling that you're having? What is causing it? So be aware. Be aware. One thing that has helped me is that I am aware when I get to those points of extreme where I'm feeling overwhelmed and I have that loss of control. And I just need to like deflate, right? So I'm aware of those things happening. So when you're aware, then you can make a conscious decision on what you're going to do next and how you're going to proceed, right? So when I'm in those moments, I become aware. Do I need to choose food? No, because I'm not having a meal right now. It's not time to eat. Do I need to go and grab that food in order to numb or like deflate that stress? No, I don't have to. I can do other things, right? So this is where, we talk about there are other options, but it's not always the option, right? So if this is what you're experiencing, might be the tip that you're going to use. Just like I talked about the water, if you're experiencing cravings, going for water all the time is not the answer, because if you were under eating and you're experiencing cravings, the answer isn't water, right? That's not going to fill you up. You need to eat more food. So if you're experiencing things, I want you to think about, okay, what's causing this? Become aware of what's going on, that you're experiencing it, and then you have that choice. Am I going to choose food to help me relieve that stress and anxiety and overwhelm? No, I'm going to choose something else. So then find ways to relieve that stress. Food doesn't have to be the answer to relieve your stress. You can choose other things. So one thing that you can do is come up with a list of things that really bring you joy, that help you feel good. So, maybe in the moment, a lot of people are like, oh, take bubble baths. Like, that's not my thing. If it's your thing, great. But maybe middle of the day, you can't go and take a bubble bath and you're stressed out at work and overwhelmed. Well, maybe you have time to text a friend or call a loved one or, just have a chat, something that makes you feel good and that will bring you the feelings of joy and happiness versus feeling those feelings of stress and overwhelm. So you got to switch that. You got to flip that switch and help those emotions come through. And talking to a friend or a loved one will help you kind of talk through those emotions as well, because it's really important that we feel them and not try to numb them with food. So, think about other things that you can do. You can chat with a friend, you can go and dance, put on some music, do something that brings you joy, whatever that is for you. So there's a few little tips, but the number one thing is the awareness and figuring out what the root cause is, and then we're replacing the eating with something else that is going to help you. So I'm specifically talking about emotionally eating and not necessarily cravings, because those are two different things, right? I talked to you guys about, emotional eating is one little section of cravings, right? But I shared with you 6 different reasons or 6 different things your body is telling you with your cravings. Emotional eating is just one of them. So the other 5, right, you got to look. I'm going to assess this. Why am I having these cravings? Oh my gosh, I didn't eat enough food today. I just got so busy and I didn't have time to eat. My body is craving food, these sweet and salty foods because I didn't fuel it enough, right? So then it's like, okay, I need to go and eat something and have a meal. And you could have a little bit of what you're craving. You could have a whole meal with lots of protein and carbs and healthy fats and have that treat on the side as well, but making sure that you're fueling your body properly. Okay, so we're having cravings. What do we do about it? Let's go back to the cravings and the restrict and binge for a minute. So as I mentioned, a lot of women don't even know that they do this. They're following meal plans, they're following a specific program. There's lots of different ones out there, and I'm not going to name them all and bash them or anything like that. That's not my style, but I will say that a lot of them have women under eating or restricting their food intake, restricting their calories, and restricting food groups, which we don't want to do, and which is what I teach the opposite of. I want to teach my clients how to properly eat the proper nutrition, whole food nutrition, but also incorporating that flexibility and enjoying the foods that they still love. Okay, so having that balance, but we start with whole foods, lots of whole foods, 80% whole foods, at least 80%, 20% of, more processed foods. And that gives you that flexibility of still enjoying the foods that you love without restriction. But a lot of women don't even realize that they're on this restrict and binge yo-yo. So whether you follow a plan or not, a specific plan or not, a lot of women will eat really healthy all week, and then on the weekend they just go all out. They're drinking, they're eating all the foods, and so that's that restrict and binge, right? It could be that you restrict, you cut out a certain food group for however long. Some people can do it for a few weeks, some people can do it for 3-6 months, and then at the end of that they're like, oh my gosh, I just want carbs, right? I won't mention the diet that doesn't incorporate carbs, but if you know what I'm talking about, a lot of women that I talk to that come to me are like, I couldn't do that diet long term. It just wasn't sustainable. They saw really great results at the beginning. They felt better, they lost weight, but it was not sustainable. That's the difference between these fad diets and what I teach my clients. It's lifelong sustainability. Enough of this yo-yo, right? If you can go without carbs for the rest of your life, all the power to you. But I can guarantee you 100% of the women that have come to me have said, I can't keep up with it, right? They felt great at the beginning, I'll talk to them when they just first start these diets. They're like, it feels so great. I'm not having any cravings, or, they're losing weight, whatever. They have all these really great results, but long term, they do not. They can't keep up with it. It's not sustainable. And so that's when they come to me and say, I need something different. I want carbs. I want something sustainable. I want to enjoy food again. I don't want to restrict. I don't want to be forced to drink shakes or eat in certain foods or eliminate certain foods. They want that flexibility. And so that's the big thing about our cravings. I can tell you my big secret of why I don't experience cravings, unless, there's something like, I didn't sleep very well last night or something, right? Like then my body's craving something because it needs that energy, like I talked about. And like that's all part of being human, right? Or the kids are, life has gotten super overwhelming and all these things are happening and that are out of my control. And, I may feel cravings because I want to emotionally eat. That's being human, right? But so many women are often having these cravings. And my big secret to why I don't experience cravings, because I don't restrict any foods. We crave what we restrict. We crave what we restrict. And so if we're cutting out certain foods, we're telling ourselves they're bad, we can't have this, we've associated guilt or shame with certain food, then we want it more, right? We want what we can't have, right? So I don't experience cravings because I haven't told myself that certain foods are not okay. I've told myself that I can have whatever I want. So now, most of the time, I don't even really want it, right? I don't experience a cravings wanting things that I can't have. So I enjoy treats every day, I will tell you that, and I make it fit my plan. I don't eat it above and go into a surplus and eat all these treats and overeat. I fit it into my plan, and that is what I teach my clients. They have to learn how to fit it into their plan. And for some, they get it like that. And for some, it takes time. We have a lot of mindset work and a lot of things to undo from years of maybe, dieting and rules. A lot of stuff is out there that we're taught and to believe, and we have to work together to overcome that and power through that. So sometimes it takes some time to get through that restrict and binge that they've been doing for a long time, and to really learn to incorporate those foods every day if they really want and make it fit as part of their plan. Okay, so remember, it's like the forbidden fruit, right? We want what we can't have. So instead of hiding it or, hiding it somewhere in the house so you won't eat it, or not buying those foods, or, just trying to, close the kitchen. I've heard, I'm going to close the kitchen at a certain time. If I know that I close the kitchen at 7, then I won't eat anymore. Or, I just need more willpower. You don't need more willpower. You need to stop restricting yourself from the foods that your body craves and enjoys. So you don't need more willpower. So we crave what we restrict. So you don't need more willpower. You need to stop restricting and demonizing food and making food bad or good. Okay? So I teach my clients, like I said, about whole food nutrition, macros and flexible dieting. So there's the difference, macros and flexible dieting. So getting in the whole foods of protein, healthy carbs, healthy fats, but including the flexibility to choose the foods you want to eat, flexibility to have treats and the foods you love. And when you do that, it will give you freedom over food. You will no longer feel controlled over food. Think about going out, your social life, date nights, going to events. How many of you have felt, put in the comments a hands up, have you felt, this fear or anxiety about going to an event and will there be food that I can eat? How am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? Maybe I should just eat before I go and not eat while I'm there, right? How many of you have done that? Put a hands up in the comments if you've done any of those things, or just said, screw it, I'm just going to let it all loose and binge on everything while you're at the party as well, right? So I don't want you going to events and feeling like you cannot have a social life but also hit your goals, because you can have both. With macros and flexible dieting, you can still have a social life, eat the foods you love, fuel your body for energy, for performance, for confidence, and still crush your goals. You could still have a social life and still crush your goals. That is what I want for you, is that freedom around food. How amazing will it feel when you have that freedom around food, but you also feel good and energized and more confident, and you're crushing whatever goals that you have. So we have to stop forbidding and restricting ourselves from certain foods that we're craving. Okay, so I had a client, I want to share with you a little bit about a client that I had in the past. She ate clean, whole foods, right? I eat really healthy. I eat clean, only clean foods. She was always tired. she always had headaches and was experiencing extreme cravings. Okay, so I don't know if you've experienced any of those things, but she was telling me, oh, well, I eat healthy. I eat healthy. I'm like, okay, well, tell me a little bit more. What are some, are experiencing any of these things? And so when you dive a little bit deeper into what sort of symptoms you're experiencing, oftentimes they're related to food. Hormone imbalance could be, not always, right? This is why I talk, you could go to your doctor. But if you were experiencing, so she was experiencing, she was tired and fatigued, had cravings, headaches often. So working together, we realized she was under eating, not on purpose. She was eating really healthy and thought she was eating her, 3 meals a day, a couple snacks. But she was under eating for her body's needs, for the types of her lifestyle, her activity level, the workouts she was doing. She was very much under eating. And so, we had to work on overcoming that diet culture mindset of good food versus bad food. Carbs are bad. We had to go through that work together, and she started to incorporate more food. So we worked on increasing her calories, increasing her food levels, putting her almost in a reverse diet. And that's a topic I will talk more about on another training, but we put her into a reverse diet because she had been under eating for so long. She wasn't seeing any more results. She had kind of plateaued, and she wasn't really looking to lose weight, but she wasn't seeing that lean muscle that she wanted to build, and so we had to reverse diet. Her body needed more food, more fuel in order to burn fat and build muscle. So that's what we went through with her. And here's what she experienced. So we added more food, and we really worked on that mindset around food as well. So her energy went up, her headaches went away. Why was she having headaches? Because she was under eating, right? So if you are often experiencing headaches, that could be a piece. It's not necessarily always what you're eating, but how much you're eating as well. She was craving less and less with each week because, again, she was being fueled. So she had enough food in her body. She was getting more of the nutrients her body needed. So she didn't need, her body wasn't telling her, I have these cravings, you need to feed me more, right? So she had less and less cravings. And then, but the bonus is she was stronger in her workouts. So she saw a change in her workouts. She was able to start lifting heavier because her body was fueled. It had the energy it needed to go through those workouts. So whether you're a lifter or a runner, you will find yourself stronger if you're fueled properly for those workouts. So with the mindset work, she began overcoming, let it go. She started incorporating her favorite foods back into her fuel plan, like pancakes and chocolate every day. Okay, so she started incorporating those foods back in, and she was now burning fat instead of muscle, like I mentioned before, and completely transformed her body composition. So you might not have a goal to lose weight or transform your body composition. You just want to feel healthier, right? Well, this is what I do. All my clients, the program is tailored to you. It's one-on-one. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's tailored to you. So if your goal is just to feel healthier and to kind of get over those headaches, or if you're experiencing fatigue, we work through that. But maybe you want to get leaner and more toned. We work through that as well, right? So everybody's program is tailored to them using my fueled plan method, or my fueled life method. And so, but it's going to be tailored specific to you. So she experienced so much change by learning to fuel her body properly, get in the proper amounts of macronutrients and enough food to fuel her body for its needs. So if you're done with cravings, if you're done with emotional eating, if you're done with the yo-yo diet of binge and restrict, and that guilt and shame that comes with that, then the Fueled Life program is for you. Okay, it's enough of this cravings, enough of the emotional eating, enough of feeling guilty, because no one should have to live like that. No one should have to feel like they have to restrict foods to feel good, or to hit their goals. You can still achieve your goals by balancing out your fuel plan with whole foods and flexible dieting. So this, if you're done with that, then the Fueled Life program is for you. So here's my big announcement. I had it opened up spots back in August for September, and that was going to be it for the year. But we had so much interest that I've decided to open up spots for October. So I'm opening up 10 spots only. I will only open 10 spots. That's what my calendar can handle. And I want to make sure that I'm giving every single one of my clients that came in September, and all my clients that will come in October, the support and attention that they need and deserve. And so that's all that my schedule can handle for October. So I'm going to take in 10 new clients, but I'm only opening this up to the stronger community right now. And then on Monday, I will open it up to social media, to Facebook and Instagram, to anybody there who wants to join. So there will be spots that will go for sure there. So don't hesitate, because I don't want you to miss out, because it's only open to this community at this point. So I'm opening up those 10 spots for October. It's exclusive to those of you in this group. On Monday, I'll open it up to social media. So if you're ready, now I want you to book a one-on-one consult call. This does not mean you have to pay, or like the consult call is free. It doesn't guarantee you a spot, or you're not forced into anything. But the consult calls are a chance for you and I to talk about what you're struggling with, what your goals are, and to see if I can help, and to see if the Fueled Life program is really a good fit for you, right? You might be watching this and go like, okay, great, but I've turned clients away. I've gotten on calls and said, this is great, but I've given them some tips, helped them work through what they're struggling with, what their goals are. But then I've said to them on the call, this is not the right program for you. This is not right for you right now. So I'm not here to just bring in clients. My goal is to really help people with their goals and their needs and desires. And the Fueled Life program is for specific people. And I also want to make sure that it's a good fit for you and I. If the coaching is not going to be, if you and I working together as a team, that's what I call it, is a team, then if it's not a good fit, then it's not going to work. So I want us to be honest on the phone. And my clients, I tell them at the beginning that I need you to be 100% honest with me. I'm not here to shame anybody or make them feel bad for any choices they make. I'm always here to help my clients find solutions to their struggles. And so, you need to be open and honest with me about what you're struggling with. I went on if they go on a weekend, binge, that's okay. We work through it. It's not to say, oh, shame on you, you binge, that's bad, now you're not going to see results. That's not the type of coaching I do. But I will be 100% honest with you. I am a no BS coach, and I will walk you through the steps to help you transform to where you want to go. But it needs to be 100% relationship where we're being honest with each other, and I'm going to be there to help guide you and support you through it, and not make you feel guilty or shame. That doesn't come from me. If you're feeling that, then we have to figure out why. So what I'm going to do is, in the comments below, I'm going to put the link to book a call. My schedule fills up really, really quickly, so make sure to book a call in, because these spots, I want you to fill them in, and then I'm opening it up again on Monday to social media, and then those spots will fill up for those consult calls. Again, it's just to see, what your goals are, what you're struggling with, and if you would be, a good fit to work with me or to be a part of this program as well. So, so we'll leave it at that. If you feel like the Fueled Life program would be good for you, go and click the link in the bio, or go click the link in the comments. I'm going to put the link for you to book your one-on-one call. I also have a few people who were interested for September who weren't ready but are ready for October. So again, I'm only taking 10 spots, and those can book up really, really quickly with past people who are part of this group that weren't quite ready for August, September, and are now ready for October. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's masterclass on conquering your cravings, and I hope you really had some great takeaways from the tips I shared with you. I would love to hear what your biggest takeaway is. You can just post it in the comments down there and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from today's masterclass. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. All right, cheers.